was going to be ruling things. So once the Congress was put together, and eventually we know those people would be bought off, but they still had interest in these other countries because that's where they came from. France was here, Sweden was here, we know England was here, we know Russia was here, everybody was here. So they had interest still in their other countries, Germany or what have you. So they were still doing things for the ruling interest of the country that they came from until they could really buy into the unity of the United States. So what happens? America becomes free. Those people become sovereign citizens. They own their land. They own the resources that's on their land. And then now you have a huge country of people who believe that they're free and they own the land that they walk on. And the Founding Fathers were smart because they instilled this within the people so that they will believe that they was a part of these United States and they was a citizen and they had stake in the growth of this country, right? So the people would take up arms and fight against King George III, or fight against the British or whoever came over here that wanted to challenge America in its freedom, right? We have people who has gold. We know about the gold rush in San Francisco and everybody coming over to get gold, right? But the problem was, of course, it's United States. It's people that's free and independent. They own their land and they're sitting on all kinds of resources. So they can't do like Africa yet, which go in there and stage a coup, because as vast as the country is, still you have one ruling body, which was, of course, the colonists, the Congress, and it wasn't the same. Either, you can go all the way over to California and do what you got to do, but still the people that's there, the governor, whoever's running the city, the state at that time, is not the end all be all. It goes back to one source. And that's the big thing about having a united country, because you can go and try to infiltrate certain countries, but that country still won't be the end all be all as far as the ruling structure. So having the United States is a big deal. So of course we know what happened. They had to come in and crack that, which they did with the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, and they basically came in through the money system and took over, right? Which is why we have the Founding Fathers' heads on our paper money, because it's basically a spit in their face, letting them know that, hey, we finally took this shit back and we did it using money. We're going to put your faces on it, right? So understand, we've been seeing over the years the same MO. But the Americans believe that, we won. America is free. It's a free country. They're not realizing, they still don't realize that Americans are not in control of America no more, even though all the proof is right there. The fact that we have a Federal Reserve System that controls our money system. We don't know who these people are. We don't know who it is that print our money. Why is our money being printed by an outside country who we don't know who it is, that is loaning our own money back to us at interest? Like, we live in a debt society. How is this American? What's going on? Who do we owe? Why do we owe these people this money? Or why can't we just pay them? What is going on? So you got to understand what this whole thing is about, right? And who's in power? Again, revenge. So now I'm going to fucking poison y'all food. I'm going to make y'all obese, because y'all are the energy. Y'all are the fucking descendants of the people who beat us, right? That energy lies within y'all. That energy of defiance, that energy of revolution is within these people. So we got to be careful. We got to play it smooth. So meanwhile, I'm going to corrupt these people. I'm going to make them sick. I'm going to infect them with all kinds of diseases and all kinds of shit to keep these people sickly. And Europe, by the way, none of the chemicals we got in our food, they have in theirs. It's banned in Europe. Look at all the pitfalls. People, I'm trying to tell you, y'all think America is beautiful. I'm in Vegas right now. Vegas is lovely, by the way, of course. I've been to so many lovely states and countries and what have you in America, or states, I should say, in America. I've been to other countries that are far more beautiful. I mean, I showed you guys China, and it's like, why don't we have a city that look like this? Yeah, we got New York City, but it's infested with rats, crime, pollution, right? But you go to these other cities around the world, they are absolutely beautiful. The food is clean. There is no problem. Why? Because they are run by the people. China is beautiful and clean because their people run it. It is run by the people who are taking care of their people. Whereas America is run by our enemies who don't give a shit about us, who are doing this shit on purpose, making the toilets just a little bit lower so that when you take a fucking piss, it splashes on your clothes. You don't even know it. That's the type of sick shit these people do. Where you go to Europe and the toilets are much deeper. I've been all over the world. I've seen the little teeny things that are perfect, that are better in these other countries. We have laws that these people put in place that basically poison the meat, poison the food, the condiments, and nobody is saying anything. So when people are asking me why is this going on? What's going on? What is this about? It's about finishing what they established a long time ago. But because of the American Revolution, because the people rose up and had a revolution and took this country back, it threw a big ass wrench in their plans to where they had to establish this huge cover up. Imagine if they could just kept slavery going, right? If they could have just kept things going the way they needed it to go, they would have got to their agenda by now. But this was so much of a wrench in their plan. And now this energy of revolution is out there. This understanding of a deception is loose. So now we got to control everything. We got to cover up history. We got to cover up everything so these people never figure out who they really are and get back to that energy, that understanding. And then now they're using the power, which is the influence of Black people, to drive this whole thing. And then they're using us to sabotage us. And it's been going that way for a long time. And this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Forget all the history. Forget the history. Understand the history, right? Understand the history. Everybody want to talk about this and talk about what happened back then and talk about who did what and talk about the ancient Egyptians and talk about the Moors and everything. Forget that. Understand the context behind it and how it all fits, because that's what people missing. Like, yeah, the American Revolution happened, but in what context? Why? What went along with that? We know about slavery for what? What was the true reason? To enslave these people to make money? That don't make sense. Why would you bring all these Africans from Africa to come to America to work for you for free when supposedly it's a bunch of Native Americans? You could have just enslaved them here and saved the trip. And I said this before. Do you mean you're going to pack all these people in a boat and bring them across the Atlantic, knowing that it could be an insurrection or these people could die along the way? And if it's about money, you're going to lose whole, crops of people. That's workers. That's money. Whereas if you're enslaving the people who you can't communicate with in the first place, supposedly with the Africans, why not just come to America and do the same thing with the so-called Native Americans, right? Because we know it's bullshit and it was already Black people here, plain and simple. So again, understand the history. We've been seeing the same MO over the years. It's been the same thing. It's been the powers that be, the shadow government, the shadow rulers, sending puppets in to control and run things. And every once in a while, you have a leader step up and change things, step up and go off course. And now they have that kind of sort of in check today. As we've seen what happened with Gaddafi and Saddam, when they go off course or go off script, they have them wiped out. They have coups, they have staged coups, they have all kinds of things that happen to get these people out of power to make sure what happened in America never happens again in these other countries, which is why, again, when I look at Ibrahim Traoré and what's happening in Burkina Faso, I scratch my head because I know these people understand what this means. So I would never doubt these people. I would never put one on them and say, oh, they fucked up or they forgot something. Because it's usually, when you think that way, it's already too late. Usually anything that looks wrong is wrong for a reason. Anything that looks like a victory is a victory for a reason. It's just something you don't understand. The only victory that I see that we ever got on them was the American Revolution, the War of 1812, and the Civil War. Plain and simple. That is the only thing I ever seen. That was the true blue coming together of America of Black and white people coming together to fight against King George III and fight against the powers that be. And they won. Plain and simple. So you got to look at this. And I look at, again, what's happening over there. And I say to myself, these people are not that stupid. And I know people, I had people message me and say, oh, it seems like you're talking bad about him, or you think he's a puppet or what have you. I'm just telling you to be careful, understand history, understand your enemy, understand the type of promotion and stuff that they give this man and give this situation. They won't do it for no reason. It's done for a reason. And I'm giving you context here, because I'm showing you what took place back with the releasing of the slaves in America. Because if you think that, oh, well, Lincoln's the president, he said, let him go, we let him go. And then when we got set free, everything that happened to us to kind of keep us in check, to make sure we don't go off and really understand ourselves and our history and, what we got going on as far as influence. A lot had to happen for that to come into context. We look at, as I said, we all know Black Wall Street. And look at what they was able to do. Look at what Black people was able to do, not even 100 years after slavery, right? Not even 100 years. Less than 100 years later, we already grew a fucking town full of Black multimillionaires who established their own town that was better than fucking white people's. Understand that they seen it and they had to stop that, and they've been on top of it ever since. So again, going back to Burkina Faso, going back to Africa, understand what's happening. And Africa is the same thing that happened here in America, and them knowing eventually they're going to have to let it go. So slaves were seemingly set free. But do we have police departments and the whole control mechanism, segregation, integration, and all that bullshit? Everything that happened after that to basically keep us in check, right? So again, it's not going to look that way in Africa, because like to get these people to believe like that they're empowered, they're in control, especially in the countries in Africa, they're going to need a lot. So putting a leader in place and making it look like these people are finally doing something that they had the power to do a long time ago, right? Oh, he's surviving assassination attempts. So the way you having these people rally for Burkina Faso and rally for Ibrahim Traoré, why didn't they do the same thing with Patrice Lumumba? And yeah, people rallied for Patrice Lumumba, but he was fucking publicly humiliated. You seen him drag him on the trucks out in the street. Where was the help? Where was the people coming to his aid, understanding that this man was trying to liberate his people, right? The rumors was bullshit, right? So Patrice Lumumba and all the other African leaders, everybody who came out, all the assassinations that happened in Africa, where was the revolution? Where was the people to come out and say, this was wrong, what happened to this man, and we're not going to allow it to happen again? And we know these African people, they understand that their rulers are puppets in a lot of cases, yet they still go along with it. There is no unity of the people coming together to fight against these puppets that's put in place until now. And then now it's happening and it's sticking. So usually what happens is when they see that there is unrest with the people, that the people are marching and protesting, here's how it goes. You guys seen this before. It's the same MO. It's the same thing with Ibrahim Traoré. What they do is, it's always the military. Notice how in every single fucking coup, it's always the military leader that steps up and takes over. And it seems as if, hey, the military leader seeing how bad you was doing things, and he's seeing that you was an evil dictator, and he stepped up to take the country from you. They been came to those generals, they been came to those captains and all those colonels or what have you. They been came to these people way ahead of time and said, hey, if we give you the word, we need you to take this man out. We need you to take over. But really, the power stays in control of the people who've been in power, right? And that's just why people scratch their head when they look at the deal that Burkina Faso got with Russia. And it's like, well, how the fuck they get 85%? I mean, it would make sense if they're still in power and you give them 85%. And they say, okay, we're going to give you 15% to make it look like y'all doing something. And y'all going to have this gold, or y'all can go and build this and do that to make it look like y'all doing something. You got to understand the MO and how this shit has been working for a long time. Plain and simple. I'm not hating on nobody. I'm not trying to stop a revolution. I'm not trying to put nobody down. I'm not trying to make it look like, put a bummer in this man's way, because I really hope that he's real and true. But when I see what I'm seeing and I understand how these people work, I'm scratching my head, and I'm keeping hope alive, and I'm hoping that everything is right and true. But what I'm seeing is a lot of red flags. So now, since I see that, I got to harken on the past. Got to go back to the past and look at what's been happening, look at history, and get you guys into that understanding of how things were established and how things can seemingly look one way, but it's actually not, right? So that's how it's been with America. And it looks like we're free, and it looks like, America is running the country, but it's clearly not. All the connections with these other countries, the connections with Rome, the connections with Britain, who we beat, supposedly, who we shouldn't really be having these relations with, but we do. And these people sought to conquer us and control us, but now we have these relations and everything that's going on. And when you look deeper, and the deeper you look, you see who's in control and who's running things. So it's the people looking at it and saying, well, you know what, my ancestors come from Europe. Europeans are in power, so we're in power, right? Not understanding that the hate and disdain that the ruling elite have for American people, that they want to basically do what they've been doing to us. It has nothing to do with you being related to these people or what have you. It's that energy that exists within all of us, the energy of revolution, and the fact that white people united with black people, and they're uniting with black people today, and they see what could possibly happen. So everything has been put in place over the years to keep that from happening, to keep what we've seen happen with the American Revolution in history from ever happening again, so these people can remain in power. It's the same MO. It's been the same MO throughout history. All you got to do is keep looking at it and look closely. It's right there in your face, the same thing. It's the same exact thing. They was using America for resources until it became privatized, basically. These people own their land, they own the resources, and there's so much paperwork and red tape you got to go through to dig in certain places. And then here's the thing. You have to pay these people, as I said before, a decent wage. You have to pay them what the stuff is worth or give them a good percentage or what have you. Whereas you can go to Africa and rape it for free, right? Rape it for very little, I should say, right? Completely different, but it's a part of a plan. So again, think about this. Look to what's happening in the news and put it all together. I understand that there's an agenda behind the whole thing and things are not what they seem. We're going to keep getting into this whole subject, right? And there's a lot more to it as I'm going to get into. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. It's another video I'm putting out. I'm going to be rolling these things up because a lot is happening. A lot is coming up. And I said this is what I'll do. So again, I appreciate everybody who's been sticking with me. Links are in the description for everything. Make sure you join. Join Merkabah Scholar Society. Get the deeper meanings, the deeper videos, right? Link is in the description for all my past videos. You can go ahead and purchase those videos and support. T-shirts below, what have you. Everything is here in the description. Go ahead and grab it and keep watching. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the questions. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.